Hello, today we're doing Mission 2 of Unit 7B. We're looking at histograms today, and on this first slide we're going to look at the difference between a bar graph and a histogram, because a lot of people think a bar graph is a histogram, when in fact they're very different. So first, a bar graph is based on categories, and there are actual spaces between the bars, as you can see. So some examples of this are just like this one here, our favorite fruit. That's something that you would put into a category. If I asked everyone which was their favorite class in school, we would put those into a bar graph and we'd have a number of people for each course. Another example of that would be shoe size. If we surveyed everyone on their shoe size would be a certain number here at the bottom. Maybe your shoe size is a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. And there's a number of people that have each of those shoe sizes. Whereas a histogram, on the other hand, is based on intervals or a range of numbers. There are usually between 4 and 7 intervals or bars, and there's no space between them because where one leaves off at like 10 a.m., the next one begins at 10:01 a.m. So, for example, this is how many butterflies there are in a garden. From 8 to 10 a.m., there were around 12 butterflies in the garden. Then from 10:01 to 12, there were around 18, and so on. Some examples of this, a lot of stores use this to track the number of people that come into the store. So you can see when the busiest time of the day is to go to the store or when would be like the least busy time. So let's look at a histogram on slide 2. This is looking at students in minutes, how many minutes they spent on their homework last night. So it says how many students did more than 40 minutes of homework. So not 40, but more than 40. So more than 40 would begin right here at 41, and we'd be going up. So more than 40, there were, if we look here, 6 students in this range and 5 students in this range. So if we add those together, that was a total of 11 students. How much time did most students spend on homework? So that's asking us which category is the tallest. The most number of students was right here. That was 7 students, but they didn't ask us how many students, they asked how much time did they spend. Well, they spent 21 to 40 minutes doing their homework. The third question, how many more students did 21 to 40 minutes than 0 to 20 minutes? So how many more did this than this? Well, we're just subtracting. 7 in that first category minus 4 in the second category is 3. 3 students. And then last, it says, can you determine how many students spent 30 minutes on homework last night? Well, if we look at this, where's 30 minutes? 30 minutes would be somewhere in here between 21 and 40. We know 7 students spent between 21 and 40 minutes, but we cannot determine exactly how many spent 30 minutes. Cannot exactly determine. Basically, we don't know. We know a range, but we don't know specifics. On to the back side. Look at this histogram. This is movies made by directors in the last year. So movies, 5 directors here. If we look at just this first example, 5 directors made 1 or 2 movies. 20 directors made 3 or 4 movies. 15 directors made 5 or 6 movies. 10 directors, 10 people made 7 to 8 movies, and so on. So what does this histogram display? The number of movies made by directors. I'm running out of space there. If you wanted to put the number of movies made in ranges by directors, that's fine too, but however you want to say that. There's lots of ways we could say that. Next it says find the difference between, okay, difference means we're going to be subtracting, the difference between the number of directors who made 3 to 4 movies and who made 7 to 8 movies. Well, 3 to 4 right here was 20 directors. 7 to 8 was 10. So the difference between those two is 10 directors. There's a difference of 10 directors. A director is a person who's like leading the movie, in charge of it. And then last, how many directors made 7 or more movies last year? 7 or more. So here we have 7. All of these would be more. So we have in this group 10, in this group 15, and in this group 20. So we just have 10 plus 15 plus 20 because they want to know how many directors. So 20, 30, 45? 45 directors total. Easy way, I just added that up. I added all the tens place. 1 plus 1 plus 2, that's 40. And then our 5, 45. All right, this last one's a little bit more challenging because we're going to have to make the histogram ourselves. So we are looking at height of feet in feet of trees. So a tree might be 5 feet tall, 21 feet tall, 18 feet tall, and so on. So we are going to look at each interval and tally up how many trees fall in the range of 5 to 9 feet. How many trees are 10 to 14 feet tall. So I'm going to cross them off as we go. 5 feet is right here. 21 feet is in this range. 18 feet is in this range. 16 is in this range. 8, 10, 16. Take a minute and do this on your own right now. 21, 11, 7, 21, 19, 12, 13, 15, 8, 17, 11, 5, 9, 7, 20, and 19. All right. So frequency means how many. So we had 5, 6, 7 in that range, 6 in this range, 7, and 4. So we're going to use this to make our histogram. So our first interval, I'm going to make each of these like 2 bars wide. So I'm going to make this 5 to 9. And then from here to here, I'm going to make this 10 to 14. From here to here is going to be 15 to 19. And then from here to here, 20 to 24. And notice our ranges don't overlap. I don't go 5 to 10 and then 10 to 15 because that way 10 would be in both. And we can only have the number 10 in one frequency here, one interval. So in the range 5 to 9, we had 7. So on this side, we can just go up how many trees had that height. So on this side, we have number of trees. And down here, we have height of trees. Because 5 to 9 feet is what we're talking about, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm just going to go up to 10 because we don't have any numbers higher than 10. So our first bar here, from 5 to 9 feet, we have 7. So that's that first bar. From 10 to 14, we have 6. Right there. From 15 to 19, we have 7 again. And then from 20 to 24, we have 4. So if you want to color them in so it's easy to see, I know it's hard to see on the graph here. I'm just going to use 2 different colors so we can see how tall each bar is. There we go. Now it says create 2 questions that could be asked about this histogram. So you can really think of any questions you want. I'm just going to say how many trees were at least, or are at least, how many feet tall? I'm going to go at least 15 feet tall. And we could use a histogram to answer that question. We don't need to, it just says create 2 questions. If we wanted to answer it, we would be including those 2 bars to the right. Another question I'm going to ask is, which interval has the least amount of trees? Which would be another easy one to answer. The least amount of trees. I'm just going to stop there because I'm running out of space. But you could really think of any questions you wanted to do or to answer about this histogram. Your homework is going to be just like this, answering some questions about histograms, and then you will need to make 2 histograms yourself. Okay? If you have any questions, please let me know.